this show is obviously pre-recorded, not happening live, so there'll probably be a few edits there where we need to shorten things and so we can get them download on file. So just a little, disclaimer there, I guess. So this next song is one that I wrote here at our house, and my wife Jo and I are big nature lovers, and that's partly why we live where we do in this little town up in Wisconsin. We have really nice, it's only 1,000 people, and we have the river itself, which is pretty, and we kayak on it quite a bit, and occasionally go swimming down below the Locken Dam there. And it is dammed up, by the way. There are 20-some dams on the upper Mississippi that from Minneapolis down to St. Louis. And but it's kind of fun. We get barges that go by and stuff. But we also have bike trails, old rails to trails. Maybe you have some of those in Mississippi. And we have a couple wildlife refuge and some lakes that we like to kayak in. So it's great that way. And we're bird watchers. And so this is kind of a nature song, which is important song for me. Not important song, but important part of my life is communing, getting close to the earth every day. Because otherwise I'm one of those people, like a lot of us, that can get stuck in my head, and it's good for me to get grounded. And so, true story, a song of something happened 6 feet outside our front door. Was the crack of dawn? Something woke me up. Some fierce kind of racket somewhere high up above. So I put on my boots and I walked outside. There was a murder of crows circling around our twin white pines. So I took a step back, and there high in the tree sat a pair of bald eagles building a nest, staring down on me. Then out of the west came a good warm breeze, and a white tail feather floated down and landed at my feet. Every now and then you get a little sign, a touch on the shoulder from the great divine. You don't ask why, you just begin to believe in the medicine. So I took that feather and I bowed my thanks to the eagles and the pines, and then I walked on back inside. And I called the shaman. I asked, what does this mean? He said, it's an omen, a blessing, some kind of powerful thing. He said, it's an honor when they choose your place. They say when the eagle shows up, they bring a state of grace. Somewhere along you passed, you did something right. Now it's time to walk the spirit way between the earth and the sky. Every now and then you get a little sign, a kiss on the brow from the great divine. You don't ask why, you just begin to believe in the medicine. North and south, east and west, spread your wings, go on, spread the medicine. Over hills and valleys, creeks not ask why, let's just begin to trust in, to walk in, to breathe in, to believe in the medicine, in the medicine, yeah, in the medicine, big medicine, in the medicine. It's called The Medicine, and it's a true story about a pair of bald eagles that moved into our front yard with a great view for the eagles of looking out over the river. They're about, oh God, I'd say between 30 and 40 feet. They have a nest the size of a Volkswagen Bug. But it's just been a wonderful experience. And one of the things I love about sharing that story, besides it's my own truth of how the medicine of the environment helps ground me. There's just this intelligence, I guess, God, whatever you want to call it, that makes me feel connected to it and makes me feel the bigger oneness instead of just my little self. But I also like singing that song because it's one of those great environmental victory stories. When I moved here back in about 1980, which was 40 years ago, there were a few eagles around, but not very many. And as late as back as far as like 1969, it was a real big deal in the paper that an eagle had come back and nested. And it was all because, if you remember, of using chemicals, DDT, their eggshells got thin and they almost became extinct. And so because of that, people legislating that you couldn't do that and protecting the environment. Now, in my backyard, when I set up my scope back there to watch the eagles up here, I can scan on the other side of the river and down below the river on our side and see 5 active nests. So it's a great victory story. So